G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an ISO9mm. This is a weapon that has been ported from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2022, although I believe it appeared in the other Modern Warfares of the modern generation of Call of Duty games, but this comes from 22. Now this thing features custom sounds and reload animations like you'd expect any good COD port to have, and it's based on a real-life firearm called the B&T APC-9, which I think we've had on the channel before. So it was about 3 years ago I originally recorded that APC-9 video, so we'll go over what this thing is fairly quickly here. So it's a Swiss-made submachine gun that was originally developed around the year 2010 and produced from 2011 onwards. APC means Advanced Police Carbine, so obviously it's a PDW intended to be used by the coppers, perhaps SWAT teams. It's a very compact weapon, but you can deal out a lot of bullets very quickly with this thing, and it's light, so you won't be getting too fatigued carrying this thing around. Although it's worth mentioning that this thing has variants that can chamber all the way up to 7.62 rounds in the whole battle rifle version of the APC, which I think is kind of cool. I'm unsure what a SWAT team or a personal security force would have for a need for a battle rifle version of the APC-9, but perhaps that's not the biggest of your problems if you need something like that. There are also variants of the APC-9 that can chamber 5.56s, 45 ACPs, 10mm autos, even 40 Smith & Wessons, so it's a pretty versatile weapon platform. But that's neither here or there. This is the Call of Duty version of this weapon, chambering the 10mm, so let's see how we go. So first of all, for the attachments, we've got the receivers, which is just automatic. There's nothing you can do with this one, so we'll skip over that. Also skip over Legendary effect provided by Legendary modification, and go over to magazines. So a standard mag, which is 33 rounds. You've got a 20-round magazine here. That's less good than a 33 round, and you've also got a 50 round drum, so yeah, we'll throw that one on for lots of ammo capacity and move on to the next one. We've got sights now, and it's got a bunch of sights you can get from Call of Duty, all with their weird and like dollar store names, not quite right, so legally safe names, legally unique names. So we'll throw on something with maybe a scope. I think I saw a version with a magnifier here, so yep, 5 times magnifier might be overkill for a submachine gun or a PW like this, but I'm going to throw that one on anyway. And we've got a lower rail attachment. This is just your foregrip. Pick what you want. There's a pineapple one, so I'm going to throw that one on. And on your tactical, you'll get yourself a laser sight on the this side of the weapon, on the ejection port side. And there's also options for blue, green, and there's red ones. We'll go for this verdant hook cylindrical laser because it is blue. Why not? And it'll match Lily's eyes. Next up, you've got the muzzles, which has a selection of muzzle brakes, compensators, and suppressors as well, including that one, which, look, I've downloaded all of the requirements here, so that texture's just missing. I wouldn't use it anyway because the suppressor is strangely phallic, so no thank you. But yes, plenty of suppressors. This one here looks like one of those Chris Vector ones, or like a 10mm version from the vanilla game, so that's kind of cool. But yes, everything you can find on the COD version, perhaps in all of the versions of Call of Duty Modern Warfare that has this, you can find on here. Next up, we've got the stocks. We're starting off with this standard foldable stock. You can actually collapse that one in if you feel like it as a different attachment point. There's also options for different kind of stocks. This one is a demo fade tack, and there's also that one for your standard looking AR stocks. You've got that one which looks like it's from a Nerf blaster from like 2009, which I think is kind of cool. And this mace one, which looks like it's from the Call of Duty home brand Scar H version. So yeah, it's hideous, but it's kind of cool that we're seeing these weapon attachments from other guns being attached onto this thing. We'll attach the torrent span, and we'll move on to the next thing. We've got a grip. That's just a pistol grip. Pick what you want with this thing. According to this, we're going to be losing 9 pounds by attaching those things, except not really. That's probably just a bug, so don't worry about it. We've got the barrels. Now, you can have a longer barrel on this thing, but the stats barely change at all. In fact, this longer barrel reduces your accuracy a little bit, which I think is quite interesting, although some of them add extra Picatinny rails. So I'm going to attach this longer barrel, and then we won't talk about how that doesn't increase the range or anything, but I wonder if that gives you any more attachment points. It doesn't look like that it does, but I'd only use that to attach more laser sights onto this thing anyway. So perhaps that's just a cap on my own stupidity. There's also a blueprint here. It's called Reckon a Black Cell, which makes your weapon look like it's made out of glass. And unfortunately, since this is Fallout 4, the game never had accounted for any moving parts inside the rifle. So if you start shooting that thing, nothing will move. But I suppose it looks cool. You could argue that. We'll keep the standard one on for this one. And you've also got animations. This will speed up your reload animations if you utilize the sleight of hand attachment. So that's kind of cool. And I believe that's pretty much all of it. That's our ISO 9mm. Let's talk about getting this thing and we'll show you how it goes in combat. This weapon can be either obtained from console commands if you're on PC, or you could get it from a chemistry workbench. Here on Weapon ISO 9, you can craft this thing for 6 adhesive, 6 screws, and 4 steel. Dirt cheap, alrighty, baby. We're back at immersive Gunner's Plaza. The crows are gathering around to watch the show, and here is our our ISO 9mm in first person, and check out how much recoil this thing has. That's me just letting the mouse go, and the precision on this thing is actually really good as well. Even when I'm hip firing this thing, looks like it's going to be a very accurate, very precise weapon, which might help to alleviate some of the symptoms of lower damage and lower range as we get into combat there. Look at that stupid mosquito trying to fight immersive Gunner's Plaza. Yep, that's what you get when you bring a proboscis to a gunfight, idiot. And take a quick look at this thing in third person. That's what it looks like. You might notice how there's a little bit of an animation error with the foregrip there, but that'll fix itself when you fire. There, I've mentioned it, and that'll be the last time that I mention it. It's also got a reload animation in third person with a tactical reload version of this. If I run the magazine dry, there'll be some charging handle, except there won't be. Interesting, maybe the sleight of hand just does away with that entirely, but there is a tactical reload component in this thing that works at least with the smaller magazines. Here's a second one I made. It's got a stubby barrel and that cool see-through skin. The shorter barrel, and oh look, the thinger does go back. I stand corrected, but not much else of that changes, but it does the important one. It's also got that Scar H stock, or the tack stock, because you can't really see it in first person anyway, but it looks like it'll be a good enough cheek rest. And just like the suppressed version, this thing appears to be an extremely precise weapon, complete with purple muzzle flashes for this effect, which is kind of cool. And here's the outfit, by the way. We went with a recon suit, but we put one of those tactical plate carriers over the top of it, and both are reinforced with ballistic weave. So basically, we're bulletproof at this point. So, we kind of look like, that Marvel movie, I think it was Captain America with the Winter Soldier guy. We look like that, except we're different. Instead of being Russian, we're UK. So we're making Lily a superhero, right? Her name is going to be called Captain Colonialism, and her superpowers are being better than everyone else. And the weaknesses are eventually the time will run out on being better than everyone else, and that rule doesn't apply to the sports they make because Australia frequently beat them in cricket. So, yeah, tough luck, Lily. I think they're being smashed by New Zealand right now, or they've already been smashed by them. So, yeah. That's unfortunate, isn't it? One unsubtle jump cut later and a reboot just so I can get my performance running properly. Let's begin. We'll shoot at some gunners. Now, this thing being the precise beast that it is, we'll be able to hit them, but unfortunately, we won't be able to hit them that hard until they get a little bit closer. So we'll try to make the most of these sneak criticals while we can. We'll probably get the same amount of damage up close as we would without sneak criticals with this sort of damage, but that's okay. We'll just keep putting bullets down range and see what we can do. Alright, now they're getting closer. And if we just quickly kill those ones. Oh. Come on. These cursed hitboxes on the trees. Yeah, they got too close. Alright. Enough skill issuing. Let's just charge right in. Now, here's what's going to happen. We don't have to aim down sights with hip fire this good, so I suppose we'll just shoot them in the face if we can, just to maximize our damage here. And that guy's got no weapons at all. That's interesting. Weird of gunners to not carry guns around, don't you think? But with the amount of staggering we get with the massive rate of fire on this thing, we should be pretty good to hold around here. And, you know, there's kind of a reason why I put all of this ballistic weave on, because they're currently tanking it up a little bit. I wonder if the receivers were meant to be like that, or if they just missed putting any of the receivers on, because sure, it might be fine and dandy using this on like a survival difficulty where damage isn't so penalized, but these guys are tanking it up a little bit at the moment. I think you can get better damage out of a powerful auto 10mm pistol, which is interesting. Is that a caravan guard? Nope. Go away. You're annoying. Alright. We'll keep on moving here. We'll go over to our unsuppressed version. See if this one does a little bit better with the shorter barrel. Whoops. Totally missed that one. Come out. No, we seem to be eating through the AP about at the same rate, but the rate of fire on this thing is so high that you could kind of expect it to be not entirely useful in its VATS form. Although, if we use it in standard VATS, no, it's still not that very good. That's interesting. Get out of here. Could definitely use some receiver upgrades right now. I'm putting about 50 10mm in to a person to actually drop them. So, you know, if you are playing on this thing with a invisible head man, he's back. If you are playing with this weapon against your high level enemies, then you're going to be in a little bit of strife, I think. Perhaps this thing was designed to be a early game weapon, and you're judging by the materials, sure, maybe. It will quickly get outpaced by better rifles, better weapons, better vanilla weapons. I think the radium rifle, for example, would absolutely trounce this, and, you know, not to mention, say, the handmade rifle from the Nuka World DLC, which you could argue is a little bit more difficult to get, but still. I just hope we don't run out of AP rounds, or APC rounds too fast before we get out of this mess here. We should be okay. I think I carry enough, but yeah, I think we'll go back over to our suppressed version now. You would have heard enough of the unsuppressed. We'll take that extra 25% damage, and then let me up, please. And even from back here, I'm just tickling them. Mosquito bites. All of these hits for very little damage. There we go. Finally got the job done. Alright, what about this person? Are you here? Mr. Clipboard. Now that was a little bit better. I suppose you could, if you could use this as a stealth SMG only, you could do very well with it. But as soon as combat hits, then you're in a bit of strife when it comes to damage output. Alrighty, so that was it for the ISO 9mm, at least for Gunner's Plaza. Let's plug a few legendary effects on this thing and just have a little bit of fun for the rest of the video. There's the Mighty Swan and a couple of super mutants with him, so we'll deal with him real fast like. Oh, almost enough to kill him in one burst there. And now we get to kill all of the little baby ones. You've only got 3 guesses to figure out what legendary effect this thing has. And there's someone over there. Whoops, they're dead. Well, whoever that was, we freed them, that's for sure. Okay, I've attached a different legendary effect on the short-barreled unsuppressed one, so let's see if we can figure out what it is. Alright, there's one. It's a Grim Reaper Sprint 2. That's good. Unfortunately, we won't be able to carry much of that gun food damage into the ghoul, but as he gets closer, we'll be able to hit him with a multitude of projectiles, and looks like the stagger chance is per projectile, so we can keep him nice and subdued as we continue to shoot him. There's a random ghoul. Take him out, and then woof, staggered him right out of that. Look at these numbers on the screen. It's so much happening. Oh, mysterious stranger is showing up again. That's pretty helpful. Let's try and keep the Wendigo off of him so he gets his full measure of damage. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And, ooh, okay, that's one hit. One more, and that's it for me. Mysterious stranger again gets completely one-shotted. He got the old turn and burn happen to him. 8 critical. Okay, that's it. We did it. Just. Kind of. They got close in the end, but it's over. There's also a blood bug over there. Well, I'm going to chase you down, mate. You're not getting away. I think he ran into some Mirelurks. Get out of here, little crab man. You are finished. And you too. Okay. Let's find some new legendary effects and put them to good use. We'll fight one more monster and I think we'll call it a video. Okay, one last test. This time we've got a different legendary effect. Let's see how we go. Our target is going to be Mr. Mirelurk King down there. So we'll put some sneak attack criticals down range and see what we can do. I feel like we're only tickling him, but as he gets closer, we should be able to capitalize more on that damage a little bit. Yeah, it's not too bad. But now we're in full danger. Getting plenty of staggers on him from up here, but what is he gonna do? Just hit me with sonic attacks that miss all the time? One of these days he's going to hit something. There it is. Okay, that actually exploded some of my bullets in midair in front of me, so yeah, well played there. But unfortunately for you, I've what's it called? Grapple hooked to a massive cheese spot. Now you can get up here with a jetpack in the vanilla game, so that's totally fine, right? So everything's okay. This is just normal. See, if Todd would have made smart AI, what would happen is he'd climb up and try to kill me, but unfortunately he's incapable of doing that. And a couple more double taps just to make sure. Alrighty, so I think you get the idea. So that was the ISO 9mm, and yeah, perhaps this thing is much too level for what I applied to do with this thing. So if you are looking for a strong SMG type weapon from Call of Duty, this is definitely not the mod to pick up, because, well, you're going to be fairly disappointed when you use it as a sort of your end game, way too many enemies and stronger than normal stuff. You're just going to get left behind. So it was probably a good idea to put the double ballistic wave Mark V on, because if I didn't have that, then I probably would have died a lot, especially during that Gunner Plaza fight. But I think it's a good looking weapon. There's a couple of quirks with the animations and some of the art stuff can be tweaked up to be good. But I think one major thing you could fix with this thing, just to make it a little bit more competitive, or at least give it a little bit more bite, is just give it some receivers up to advanced to give yourself, I don't know how much more they give you in the vanilla game, but just something to give it a little bit more power so you can use it and punch above its weight a little bit more successfully than what you've seen here. But if you are impressed with what you saw in this mod, check out the link in the description. It should be down there. And I will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching, guys.